Welcome back to Day 3 of the International Pure Conference for North America and Europe. My name is Baron Wolf, Assistant Vice President for Research and Director of Research Analytics at the University of Kentucky, and I will be the moderator for Track 1 today. You can submit your questions to the speaker at any time using the live Q&A button located on the right-hand side of your screen. If time permits, we will cover those questions at the end of each presentation. Now, I would like to introduce you to this session's speaker. Judith Sheft is the Executive Director of the New Jersey Commission of Science, Innovation, and Technology. Their mission is to accelerate economic development through science, innovation, and technology by stimulating academic and industry collaboration, encouraging and supporting entrepreneurs and inventors. She will be discussing collaboration in cluster-based economic development. Welcome to the Pure Conference, Judith.
Thank you. Thank you, Baron, for that kind introduction, and thank you to the Elsevier team for the opportunity to speak at the 2021 International Conference. On the next slide, you'll see that innovation is an important ingredient for future success. Innovation is a driver of economic growth, national security, health and well-being of all citizens. Across the globe, countries are seeking to harness the power of their invention to innovation pipeline to address a range of wide problems, from some of the immediate social challenges that we've all been dealing with for the last close to 2 years, such as the COVID pandemic and the attendant social inequalities, to the heightened attention on things like climate change, as an example. And so what I want to talk about today is innovation, entrepreneurship, ecosystems, and provide some comments and observations on how to effectively link and leverage resources to effectively drive positive economic outcomes. I'll make a few comments later on about a system that we have implemented in New Jersey called Research with New Jersey, which pulls together information from a number of our academic institutions and how we're trying to use that as a mechanism for linking and leveraging resources across the state. On the next slide, I want to share a little bit of background, a little bit of stage setting. If you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. So to have an innovation economy that is more than just a slogan, but is one that can lead to measurable, sustainable economic growth, it's important to have a robust strategic economic development plan. By putting a formal plan in place, communities can take control of their economic development, set clear and obtainable objectives, and design policies and programs to achieve them. Without a plan, your economic future is reactive at best, and at worst, it can be in the hands of others that may have a very parochial perspective, leading to suboptimal or even negative outcomes. Governor Murphy's economic development plan for New Jersey has 4 key pillars: people, communities, innovation, and government. These elements all work synergistically together to create a stronger and fairer New Jersey for all of New Jersey's citizens. On the people side, we're focused on training, retraining, and upskilling, starting from the earliest levels through adult learners. Lifelong learning is a critical component. We know that the jobs of tomorrow are not the same jobs that we have today, and individuals need to be reskilled, and our academic institutions have a critical role to play. Learning does not end with formal education. As inventions become new realities and new jobs are created and old ones disappear or change drastically as a result of automation and new technologies. Many of the jobs of the future do not exist today, and we don't even know what they're going to be. Communities are the backbone of society. New Jersey's plans call for investing in outdated infrastructure and invigorating our cities. Being home for the last year and a half has put significant pressure on our cities. Main Street businesses have suffered, and so have the gatherings of the innovation community. Various meetups and conferences where serendipitous encounters would take place and spark opportunities had to happen online. Zoom and these other platforms have been vehicles for creating connections, and while they are positive in that they enable a broader global participation, such as at this conference. They're not a substitute for that face-to-face, in real life interaction. Innovation is New Jersey's birthright. New Jersey has been home to many key inventions, and we like to say that New Jersey was Silicon Valley before there was Silicon Valley, particularly with the invention of the transistor at Bell Labs Murray Hill. In the biopharma field, New Jersey is known as the medicine chest of the world. New Jersey's plans call for creating clear sector priorities based on existing assets and strengths, and for implementing specific programs to support companies within those sectors. Government is the fourth factor, and New Jersey is creating a more efficient and effective government infrastructure. The last year has strained many of New Jersey's systems, and new ones have been created quickly to implement and support COVID-related programs, whether it was opportunities for displaced workers to look for new opportunities, unemployment opportunities, different incentive programs from the Economic Development Authority. We found that government really had to step up to the charge. On the next slide, we'll look at the key clusters that are important for New Jersey. The cluster identification is really based on an examinations of our region's strengths and capabilities, coupled with an analysis of possible customer and market demand. While a cluster can be emerging or aspirational, it does need to have a foundation built on some sort of regional set of capabilities. The key industry sectors that support New Jersey's growth plan include life sciences, technology, advanced manufacturing, clean energy, food and beverage, transportation and logistics, wind, film and media, financial services, and professional services. These sectors were identified by analyzing the resources and capabilities in New Jersey. We looked at what companies existed, from large corporate players and manufacturers down to those small startup entrepreneurs and would-be potential entrepreneurs currently working in our academic labs. We looked at the skills and talent base of the existing workforce, the research strengths at our various academic, hospital, and government labs, the supporting supply chain players, service providers, and the inventory of physical infrastructure assets, buildings, facilities, broadband capabilities, and so forth. And while these are large headline, big buckets, and in developing a cluster, it's probably necessary to get down and to define a subcluster of activities. As one example, within the life sciences area, one of the emerging New Jersey subclusters is in the cell and gene therapy area. It's built on the academic capabilities at several of New Jersey's universities, Rutgers and New Jersey Institute of Technology, and has been further supported with the development of new prototyping and manufacturing facilities that NJIT has put in place, along with support from their business incubator, VentureLink, that helps entrepreneurs. They collaborate with large pharmaceutical companies and training partners and funders such as the US government and the National Institute for Innovation in Manufacturing, NIMBLE, to really put together this subgroup within the life sciences area. On the talent side of the equation, they educate and upskill, providing general and customized training in cell therapy and biologics manufacturing. So it's not just a headline of we're going to be great in life sciences. We've been able to drive down a little bit deeper. And we're able to use things like our research with New Jersey database to help identify additional collaborators and individuals who should be brought into the activities that we're working on in this area. On the next slide, I want to talk about cluster development. You know, the context of innovation and the majority of its benefits tend to be local. You want to link and leverage the elements is a critical factor in developing a successful cluster. Government policies and incentives and the regulatory backdrop can facilitate or hinder cluster growth. And intermediaries, such as trade groups, government agencies, and economic development organizations, can play a role in helping to strengthen the connections between individuals to get partners going, collaborations, funders, customers. These groups, such as the intermediaries, can also provide inputs on the opportunities and challenges to help shape different policies and incentive programs. Not explicitly shown in this particular diagram, but a critical component is the underlying culture of a region. Elements such as openness, trust, willingness to cooperate, inclusivity, and flexibility, all of those come together to help drive cluster development in a way that is going to drive economic development within our regions. On the next slide is a diagram that has been taken from MIT, Fiona Murray, and Phil Boudin, which shows linkages between the various stakeholders. And there's a lot of linkages. It's not only the star-shaped connections that you see in the middle of the circle, but also the linkages around the circle. So at times, the connections can appear to be confusing, it's messy, and needs to be flexible. So some of the things to note, many of the players, such as the academic institutions, may set up a liaison office or have accelerators to help make it easy to find information from the university. Some of the rationale originally behind our establishing the Research with New Jersey platform had been coming from industry as well as from investors who said, we can't see what's going on inside of the New Jersey universities. We don't have time to go visit each one of them individually. Is there a way that we can pull things together in a coordinated way to help foster this economic growth? The stakeholder model needs to be flexible and dynamic as different players come in and out of the activity. And while we talk about local economic development, there's also connections to regional ecosystem activities and international activities. Recently, there was an announcement at Liberty Science Center in Jersey City near the Liberty Science Center Museum around a project called SciTech City with Sheba Medical Center in Ramat Gan in Israel near Tel Aviv, where again, they're looking to set up within the cluster of digital health activities a way to connect activities going on in Israel with some of the activities going on in Jersey City, so that you can see these innovation clusters can connect on an international basis. And again, innovation ecosystems will tend to be cluster specific, so that what is happening in the life sciences area, you're going to end up having different groups of people connecting around some of the other subsectors. And it's important to be open and inclusive. It can't be a closed group where only certain people are allowed in. You want to be able to invite people across all elements of the ecosystem, all facets of work that is being done. We know from other research that's been done by McKinsey and other groups that the more diversity involved in solving problems, the better solutions you're going to have and the higher economic output. So the goal is connections and collaboration. So on the next slide, we'll talk a little bit about collaboration. What exactly is collaboration? Well, collaboration needs to be something that comes together, which is mutually beneficial to both parties. It should be, to be successful, a collaboration should be well-defined and have some agreed upon goals so that both sides or multiple sides know exactly what they're getting into. And parties need to be committed to these relationships. So our collaboration, where again, we came together, to develop our Research with New Jersey platform, we needed to ensure that our partners in the endeavor were committed to implementing the project. There should probably be some kind of governance structure and shared accountability for the project and sharing of resources. And types of collaboration can range everything from simple information sharing through to the establishment of alliances and coalitions. And on the next slide, I will show you a number of New Jersey cluster activities. As I mentioned, life sciences is a really important part of New Jersey's ecosystem and economy. And there's a number of activities that we do within the life sciences sector to drive cluster development activity. For those in the United States, recently the New Jersey or the State Economic Development Authority, the federal EDA, announced a competition called Build Back Better. And one of the proposals that was submitted from New Jersey was around the area of continuous drug development and manufacturing. And we needed to very quickly bring together people. It was being led by one of our academic institutions, but they needed to very quickly bring together all of the relevant parties. And they were able to look at the Research with New Jersey platform and put in some keyword and search terms to help identify and find the appropriate other academic partners to bring to bear. Because even though you might think, gosh, shouldn't everybody at one university know everybody else? As you end up getting, multiple, people involved, everybody doesn't know everybody else, even within sometimes an individual department. Faculty may not know what others are involved with. Clean energy is also an area that is important in New Jersey, and we're doing a lot of work. One activity, again, they did a Build Back Better proposal as well in the clean energy space, but they've also recently announced the establishment of the New Jersey Wind Port, which is going to be the nation's first purpose-built offshore wind port, promising to position New Jersey as a hub for the offshore wind industry. And so, again, from that perspective, we needed to ensure that while it's being situated in South Jersey, in Salem County, that we're able to bring into bear people from all the multiple stakeholder groups and different universities, not just the universities that were located in the southern portion of the state. Diversity, equity, inclusion is also critically important. And recently, New Jersey Institute of Technology, in combination with a number of other New Jersey universities, New Jersey Edge, and my Commission on Science, Innovation, and Technology, received a fairly prestigious award from the National Science Foundation, an Advance Award in a partnership program where we're looking to advance opportunities for women along the commercialization pipeline, especially women academics, to ensure that inventions that they have get the same attention and they have the opportunities to get those inventions commercialized. On the next slide, I'd like to talk a little bit about the New Jersey Economic Development Authority and the Commission and the kinds of projects that we have to support companies. We support companies at all stages of development, from getting started to getting established to growing. And in particular, even on the getting started side, we're really even talking before perhaps a company knows that it even wants to get started as a company, as we're looking to try to identify faculty and innovations at our New Jersey universities that could be the basis of new business opportunities. So we have a suite of programs. And there are also, and not shown on this slide, certainly there were many incentive programs that were rolled out as part of the COVID relief effort. A few of the programs that I'd like to highlight, one is called Founders and Funders. And in this, we basically do speed dating, where we have the startup companies indicate what they do, the kind of funding they're looking for, and we match them up in essentially a speed dating format where they're able to talk to a number of different investors around what they're doing. And again, we make sure that we match people so someone who is not interested in investing in life sciences doesn't spend time talking to someone who is in the life sciences area. So, and that has been a very popular program. We plan to restart that again in person in early 2022. There's also a Golden Seeds chapter in New Jersey. Golden Seeds is a venture organization with angel investors that specifically focuses on businesses that have a female in the C-level suite. And so again, we're looking to try to help drive diversity and inclusion and ensure that all businesses are getting opportunities to grow and develop. I want to
We have about 5 minutes left.
Okay, great. Research with New Jersey is our platform that connects 5 of our New Jersey research universities. And then we have a series of different grants, vouchers, and loan programs. On the next slide, Research with New Jersey, as I mentioned, is basically a pure portal that combines information from 5 of our New Jersey research universities. So we've got 5 subportals from NJIT, Montclair, Rowan, Stevens, and Princeton and Rutgers University are part of the portal. We then combine up to an academic statewide portal called Research with New Jersey. And the purpose of the portal was to be able to help foster those communications and collaborations between industry and academia, to allow academics to find collaboration partners, as well as find opportunities to utilize some of the research facilities at the New Jersey universities. We have a voucher program that allows startup companies to get access to those facilities. What we are intending to do, we've currently got about 5,000 profiles on the system and about 155 core facilities. We're planning, as we look forward, to try to figure out how to bring in some additional universities, as well as under the banner of Research with New Jersey, bring in hospital systems, federal government labs that are operating in the state, as well as see if there's a way that some of our small startup companies would like to be highlighted on the portal. So that this Research with New Jersey tool, which, as I said, is currently built off of the Elsevier Pure portal, is a way to really help drive economic development by fostering the communications between the different players. And we're starting to look, we have a group that gets together periodically as to what kinds of other reports and things. I know there was a session earlier today, and this track on reports can be used to help us drive economic development more positively for the state. So
Judith?
thank you.
Great. Thank you, Judith. In the last 2 minutes, I do have some questions that came in, so we want to make sure we get to them. I was aware of the New Jersey portal, so I'm glad to hear about how you're using it to drive some of this. So a question coming in from Patrick says, have you been able to see reporting on which corporations have visited the community site and from where they arrive?
So we had some challenges with our community site. It had been down for a period of time, so we're just starting to get the reporting put back up. I know that our universities are able to see individually who has been looking at the technologies at the universities, and when they've gone on some international delegation trips, they're also able to determine that as well. I know you can. With the reporting, you're able to see, for example, if Merck or IBM was looking at your technology. It would be great if you could get all the way down to that individual person in the company to know, who was it? But we're not able to drill down quite that far.
Okay, great. Patrick also asks, and this is a question I have as well, because Kentucky is thinking about doing a community portal, but in pulling together data from across many institutions within New Jersey, how valuable has it been to have a service team that created and curated the bulk of the author profiles?
So we currently have each, so one of the things that we're starting to do as the project moved over to the Commission on Science and Technologies is that we're looking to see how to best make sure that we have some consistency across profiles from the individual institutions, because currently there's some slight differences in terms of how the information is presented from some of the different schools. So we're looking to try to get that a little bit more consistent. across the institutions. We're also trying to determine one thing I didn't mention. I know there was on the conversation yesterday. We currently are really focused on STEM faculty. And so there's a discussion about what about the quote STEM adjacent or non-STEM faculty? Should they be part of the portal? And if they're not, does that then make it not as useful a tool for some of the other things that the universities are looking to do?
Great. Thank you, Judith, for your presentation. That was very informative in what New Jersey's doing to spur on collaboration and economic development. We are out of time, so thank you for that session. We have a quick break now before we go into our next session about what defines the pure research community. So I look forward to seeing you all at the next session. Thank you.